we just went and watched the Eclipse. Went and watched it, didn't do the whole staring straight at it, but what an anticlimax. I'd love to know what it was like where you are, but where we are, it was literally just a massive cloud. Look at that, just one big cloud. One big cloud right above the sun till the very end. But it was kind of cool to see it go dark. Hello, MBA 392. I'll call you MBA for short. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Did you go and watch the Eclipse? It got kind of cool and dark. Like I'll show you here. Like this was from the rooftop, so you can kind of see it went very kind of sunsetty, and then immediately turned back. That was a kind of cool bit at the end with the sun peeking through the valleys. Hello, Diedrich. How you doing, mate? Nice to see you. Good evening to you, mate. We're on the same time zone now, right? We're in the same hemisphere. You are Holland, so Central European time, same as me. Lovely Spain. It's been a very nice day today. Sipping on a little bit of Fanta. No coffee tonight, just a little bit of a sugary drink. I thought I'd bring back the Wednesday stream, seen as time zones work a little bit better, particularly for majority of my audience, which are predominantly in the UK. So that's pretty good. Hello, Luke, mate. How you doing? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. I hope you're feeling suitably motivated to go and chase down your 1,000 view hours. You know, I was thinking about that video yesterday, and it started to make me think about how difficult 8,000 hours would be in comparison to the 4,000 hours. Do you know when the last time YouTube, it used to be 1,000 subscribers, and then the 1,000 subscribers also became 1,000 watch hours, and then that became 4,000 watch hours, and now it's became 8,000 watch hours. But I was thinking about that today, right? And this isn't. I was trying to think about how to say this without sounding like a dick. So I'm going to do my very best to not sound like a dick, right? So I'm caveating what I'm about to say next with that. But let me give you an example, right? 8,000 watch hours in a 365-day time period. Now, I am in the middle of August just now, and typically my channel gets somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 views per video. That's kind of my tranche, my valley. And here's my screen right now to let you see. And that number of views across the last couple of videos that I've posted halfway through this month gives me, if you can see that, 2,562 hours of view time. Now, that's halfway through the month, right? So I'll show you the month previous. There's the month previous. You can just see there, 4,623. Now, I'm not a big channel by any means. I don't get a shit ton of watch time. I have a very dedicated and awesome base of views. And so I was kind of tallying up in my head, you know, if you were putting the effort in, would a 6-month window be a realistic amount of time to gain the 8,000 watch hours? You know, it might take close to a year, but it still feels quite doable if you're making content that's likely to, you know, get people watching in some kind of way. So I was kind of reflecting back on yesterday's video and thinking, I mean, it's by all means, it would dent your appetite to want to do it. But if you love making videos and you're making content that people want to watch, the chances of still hitting that limit, hitting that barrier shouldn't be too hard. Now, if I give you, for example, again, I'm caveating this, right? Just in that, I get 1,000 to 2,000 views. If you go back through that, if you go into latest videos on my channel, you scroll through, it's like 2,000 views, 2,500 views. There's the odd outlier that might got a bit higher than that, but typically that's my tranche of views, right? That gives me this year 48,000 watch hours just from January until August. So look, you've got 1,000 to go, mate. Let me give you the big pat on the back and say, go and get your channel monetized before the new rules come into place when that happens on the 1st of February, mate. I wish you all the best with it. Right, let me flick back and see what's going on. Diedrich, the whole town moved to the beach, but there was nothing special to see. Wasn't it just such a bummer? Wasn't it just such a... We were up on the rooftop of this house that we're in, and we were messaging with pals in Scotland, and all we got was that. I mean, it was kind of cool that it went dark, ended up like this, but it was nothing exciting. It was nothing exciting. Did anybody go buy glasses in order to, you know, do the whole official thing? Yvonne was sitting today on Google reading up about how to use a colander to do it and whether you could make a shoebox into some way to also watch. And I thought, yeah, that seems like a lot. And I got a very caring message from Victoria, who messaged me telling me, reminding me not to stare at it. Well, listen, look, I wish you all the best with it, mate. 1,000, you know, I know when you're working, doing a job, and you're trying to squeeze in, running a channel and all that in the midst of it. But if you can knock out a few videos and find a little bit of momentum, 6 months, you got 6 months to make that 1,000. So wish you all the best with it, mate. Hello, Julie. How are you doing? Yvonne and I are well, thanks. Yvonne's fighting fit, fully recovered from her little period of, no pun intended, love. A little illness run that she's had there. Feeling good now. We're both feeling good. And just absorbing the heat here in Spain. It has been particularly warm. I mean, it's just warm all the time. Air conditioning's getting cranked on. So we are well, and it's nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. MBA, we live surrounded by a forest, so you don't see anything interesting. Surely the forest has got plenty to see inside of it. Hello, Victoria. Nice to see you. Just mentioning you. Thanks for joining us. And I love the fact that you all kind of chat amongst yourselves now, also saying hello to each other. I love that. I absolutely love that. You got way more views than when you first started. That is true. That is very true. Everything is everything in its own context, isn't it? So you just kind of keep working your way through all this. I was editing a few videos today. I'll post over the next couple of days. Sarah and Lee that I met with, English couple who were in Kuala Lumpur. I've got an interview with them that lasts about 50 minutes. That's posting tomorrow. We were sitting in a park just chatting about their lives. They have sold everything, left the UK and are travelling. So got their perspective. And then beyond that, I've got some of the kind of wrap up for Yvonne and I in Malaysia. Flight to Istanbul, what that was like, screaming kids on planes, some trying situations in the airport during the 15-hour layover, all of that to come. And then I've still got stuff like I've got the HMRC tax video still to record. Oh, I've got some interesting stuff to tell you. The insurance company has paid all of the legal fees that were outstanding. They missed 3 deadlines in total. And then a few days ago, we were both sent, me and the insurance company were sent an invitation to book a time slot as to when we're available to go to a telephone hearing. So I have to go and represent myself in a telephone hearing against the insurance company and the insurance company's hired lawyer. And they gave us 3 days to reply. Now, here's a funny little bit. The website didn't work. I couldn't book a time slot. So I emailed them and said, I can't book a time slot. and I didn't hear back from them. So then I emailed them again, and I gave them a number of days and times that I was available. And then the arbitrator got back to me and said, okay, can you do it on this particular time slot? And I said yes. And then today, the insurance company reached out to the arbitrator, the woman who's managing it at the insurer, to say she'd gone off for a few days and has missed the deadline to book the slot to have the arbitration call. So they missed 3 payment deadlines and then missed the booking slot deadline. You just, like, this is just, it kind of all sounds made up at this point, right? And I accept that this all sounds like BS. But trust me, from my perspective, sitting managing this, constantly having to wait for deadlines come and go, then they get extended, again, and not really being able to say anything about it is immensely frustrating and very tiresome. But we have agreed a date, so it will be the 2nd of September. I have to dial in and represent myself in the first round of arbitration against the insurance company. So I won't lie, I'm slightly shiting myself about this because it's taken months and months and paperwork and everything else and payments and, just the stress and the sleepless nights about battling all of this to this point. But on the 2nd of September, now that's totally thrown Yvonne and I's plans into disarray because we were due to leave Spain on the 1st of September, but we weren't really sure where we were going to go. We were thinking about going to Amsterdam. We were thinking about just staying in Spain and traveling to Madrid and flying out from Madrid. But now that this is in the 2nd of September, I don't really want to be moving around and unsure of what time zones I'm going to be in and dealing with travel. So we're probably going to just try and maybe extend in Alicante for a little bit longer, and then we'll think about leaving. But 2nd of September, I will have my first arbitration hearing where I'll represent myself against an international insurance company and the legal representation they have hired to fight the case against me. So wish me luck. I will keep you posted on all that goes on with that. NBA meteor shower also tonight, is there? Oh, that's interesting. Oh. It's not the most stable of connections here, so I hope you've stuck with me. If that happens occasionally, just stick with it, folks. Stick with it. Michael, John, is someone starting out? Would you say the subscribers is more difficult to get than the 4,000 watch hours? Oh, Michael, that's a bloody good question, mate. Do you know, I depending on when you asked me this question, I would have given you different answers. When I started last year, the way the platform was at the time, it felt quite easy to kind of gain subscribers and watch hours, but that's really felt quite different now. It feels like the platform, I mean, I made that video yesterday saying YouTube's on hard mode now. Now, again, look, there'll be people who maybe watch some of this, or folk who watched yesterday's, that will be like, your channel's just on the slide and people have moved on, all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure there'll be an element of all that going on. Can't make a channel about one specific topic and then shift and expect people always to go along with you. But that said, I've spoken to and I've watched loads of videos from many other creators, small and large, all saying how difficult the platform is right now. Many people saying that they're being squeezed in terms of their earnings. I've seen so many people talking about that. So I don't feel like I'm alone in that. That said, gaining the subscribers just now feels like it's quite challenging. So I would honestly say getting the watch hours, 4,000 right now, 8,000 is going to take some doing. But getting people to come along the journey with you and actually subscribe feels like a bit more of a challenge right now. I would just say, like, I mean, I can always stuck to this idea of like not really asking people to subscribe. Like, if you just like it and you want to subscribe, do it. I think I might have said it in 1 or 2 videos out of like the 400. I try and avoid it, but there is so much evidence tells you that you should ask for people to subscribe, because it kind of clicks into their brain to join in and take part in it. So it's a real battle, because I kind of struggle, especially see channels where the video starts and when it's like 10 seconds in, they're like, comment and subscribe. You're like, I haven't even saw the content yet. That does my head in. So if you're like halfway to 3/4 of the way through the video and you've been some good content in there, by all means, encourage people to join. Like I say, there is a lot of data shows that if you encourage people to subscribe, but it does matter about timing, hi, welcome to my video. I'm about to tell you about this, but first comment, like, and subscribe. Like, how about you just tell me what it is first before I decide whether I want to subscribe? That's maybe just me, but so it's a minefield, right? YouTube is a minefield. There's no, I think somebody replied to yesterday's video saying, all these gurus, all these channels that tell you how to get monetized in 30 days and how to get 4,000 watch hours fast, all that stuff. It means nothing when YouTube just changed the parameters. But again, I'll come back to it, right? Just in case you missed that, Michael, I would say this. I am a small channel and I've done 48,000 watch hours this year so far, 48,000 watch hours. This month, August, is a pretty average month for me. And I've done 2,500 watch hours. So, is it possible to get to 4,000 or 8,000 in a 365-day period, rolling period? Yes. I'll tell you what the bigger challenge is. There's no point making shorts now. Like I feel like it's just the degradation of society, turning people's brains into mush shorts. But you it's such a struggle. I don't really like making them. I like long form where I can talk, share, make things. But the shorts are a good advertisement in, like a little peek in. But now you're not going to, the most I've ever made from a short, I have one short on my channel that did 300,000 views talking about council tax and the cost of living in Malaysia. 300,000 views, and that paid £20. Most of my shorts earn like 20 pence, 30 pence. Now, over a month, that might bring in, I don't know, £5, £10 extra at best. But now I won't make anything because you have to do 10 million views in a 90-day period. That is wild. That is really wild. That is, for channels that make shorts, like I follow some pretty big channels that will do 1 million to 2 million in a month. And that would pay like $500, $700 in a month. That's gone. That's now gone because it's not 10 million views. That's wild. That's why focus on long form. And I'll say this much. I'll put this on record now because this will be saved. I bet you in like months or a year, they'll change the rules again. And this time the way they'll change them is that you have to hit a watch time every quarter in order to get long form payouts. Like you got to do 1,000 to maintain a monetized channel. You have to do 1,000 watch hours in, I think it's in a year, and you must do 2 long form videos in that time as well. So they'll change the rules. All right, let me flick back through. You forgot to invite Richard, but one of the cats has just jumped up on my lap here. Yeah, Richard Pound needs to make a reappearance, sharing a bit of the travel news. Let's see what else is going on. Who have we got here? Baz, hello, mate. How you doing? Good evening, mate. You couldn't make it up. I know, you couldn't make it up. They should have to pay stress fee. It's so unfair. This is just like, I mean, the kind of cynical aspect of me is like, this is just another way for major organizations, governments to remove just that extra way for you to earn a little bit of income. You know, people that have got a little bit of a side hustle. Now, look, I want to play a little bit of devil's advocate here on this, right? And I know you've got to start somewhere and build. But if your channel isn't getting 4,000 watch hours in a year, not making enough content, you're not, the videos aren't landing enough, you're not, you know, there's definitely tweaks that you can make there. And I'm just, like, you got to at least accept that the minimum you can be paid in a month by YouTube is £60. So you must earn more than £60 before you'll get a check, right? Now, so I was showing you it was like 2,500 watch hours for me this month, right? Now, I'm always happy to be transparent as to what I earn on this channel. That is what 2,500 watch hours gets me so far this month, 70 quid. So I'm a tenner over the threshold, right? So even if you can't get to 4,000 watch hours in a year, in a 12-month period, you would never see a check anyway. You would never get a check because it would take all that time to accumulate more than £60 to pay out. So I say that as gently as I possibly can because I know everybody's got to start somewhere. But for all these channels that are basically kind of struggling with like the 50 and 60 views and never getting above that, it's just not landing somehow. And either you've got to think about the content and like, you know, like I'm for endlessly thinking titles and thumbnails and strategizing and trying to improve on things and thinking about where I shoot and what I'm shooting. And if you're not doing that with your topics, again, it's going to be hard. So I genuinely say all that, recognizing that you've got to start somewhere and work towards these goals. But when I see channels that are like, I've been aiming for monetization for like 6 years and I've not got there, something. Yvonne's on a bike next door, pedaling fast to keep the electricity and the internet connection on in here. She's doing a cracking job, but our RPM drops every now and then. So yeah, I hope all that's kind of gives some perspective on this stuff. Best of luck with the insurance company playing mind games. Diedrich, honestly, I wish I could sit at this point and say it feels like mind games. It genuinely just feels like pure complacency, like just bad management, poor handling. Like it's kind of highlighted all of that. But unfortunately, in the case, I'm not allowed to bring any of this up to the arbitrator. I'm not allowed to say they've missed the payment 3 times, that they missed the deadline for booking the slot. None of that is relevant. It's purely just about the terms and conditions. So I read in the documentation today that it looks like once we've had this arbitration meeting, that then there will be a short period of back and forth in documentation. And then the arbitrator should take 14 days to make a decision. So Yvonne and I at the beginning of the year were like, when do you think this would be done by? And I said, probably end of the year, beginning of next year. Now, it looks like it'll be a bit ahead of that. But, oh man, it's been so tiring. It has been so tiring. But that's the game, isn't it? The insurance company's a whole company, and I'm just one person going against it. You should. MBA, you've just given me a good idea. I normally, like, I record these things on my voice notes, and then I've been using AI the whole way through to help me fight the case. Like, I did all the paperwork using Chat GPT and also Claude. I've got both of them set up, fighting it from different angles and helping me with the paperwork. Otherwise, I could never have done any of this. So I was going to record the call. I hadn't thought about live streaming it, but I could definitely record it. It'd be quite interesting. Good evening, Mr. Thompson. How you doing, mate? Good evening. It's like your story is paused at the moment, maybe. What have you got planned for the future? It's like your story has paused at the moment, maybe. What have you got planned for the future? Paused. What does that mean? What do you mean by paused? Is that because, like, I'm in between, like, left my career? I mean, I try not to think about it like this, as in, I feel like I'm on one big extended holiday. I'm actually going to record my podcast tomorrow morning, and I was going to talk about it, what it's felt like to go from the extraordinary, and the extraordinary was like the packing everything up, selling it, making the decision to leave, and then going through with it, and how the extraordinary now just feels like the normal, and the normal just being enjoying floating around, going for those coffee breaks, relaxing, making videos. All of that feels exactly kind of what I aimed for, a nice pace. So it doesn't really feel like pause. It feels like the next phase, the next evolution. That's what it kind of feels like. And I'm kind of enjoying that so far. It's like a secret to a good comedy. I know. It definitely does. You'll have to post regularly. In terms of having a channel, you really do. Like, unless... I remember when I started this, right? And when I made the first video, I thought, right, I'll wait a week to make the second video. And then I was like, no, I'll make another one. I'll make 2 a week. And then I made 2 a week. And then very quickly, I was like, I'm going to try and just as often as I can. And I kind of committed to daily. And I was really enjoying it because obviously I was unemployed. I was walking along the canal path. I had all the time in the world to do it. And now hasn't really felt that different. I'm generally kind of enjoying. I can put a video together, record a video, put the video together in like an hour and a half. And so it's such a short part of my day, and I enjoy the kind of structure of it all, and kind of thinking through, like a wee mini storyline in it. And the videos I made today are about like leaving Kuala Lumpur, traveling to the airport, flying out, what the flight was like, getting to Istanbul, the layover, the things that happened there, all of that kind of stuff. So pretty basic stuff, but a little bit of an underlying storyline and all of that. And I recognize that, every channel's got its own theme. And I was talking to somebody yesterday who makes like travel videos that's trying to gain, they need another 1,000 hours of watch time. And if you're not traveling or you don't have big plans, that's kind of hard to do. But maybe you need some filler content in there of you just sitting down like this, talking about trips that you've been on or things that you're planning, so that there's something in between the big events, right? I mean, I've said this before. I try and have 3 pillars on this channel, and that's kind of health, lifestyle, reinvention, money, and like kind of the travel element that's involved in it, right? So there's always kind of like 3 pillars of things that I can rotate in and out. I can talk about the money, like how much they earn on YouTube, how much is the cost of living, how much is the apartment that we've been in, how much have we spent this month, how much income have I made. There's regular videos in that. And then there's the where are we off to, and then there's just general topics. So it kind of means that every month I've got a routine of what I'm working through, and all of that's renewed constantly. So it's all about kind of thinking like, what can you do with your channel in that time? 1,000 hours is not a lot to get. Yeah, and Julie, you're spot on. You know, if it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. I said this before, and I'll say it again. Many people shouldn't have a channel because it's just, you know, if you're content with it just being a hobby and you just want to make like, you know, little fun videos, share it with your pals, your family or whatever, have at it. But if you're trying to make something out of it like a business, it's more difficult than many people really kind of understand. So yeah, I say that also in the nicest possible way, but it's not for everybody. And you're right. You're right on that point. Appreciate answering my question. No problem, Michael. Thanks for joining us, mate. I don't think I've seen your name on here before, or on the live. Maybe I've got that wrong. But anyway, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Are YouTube shooting themselves in the foot with this? Do you know, like, I don't think I've ever seen a Google decision where they've ever backtracked on it. So I cannot see them making a fundamental change over this. I can't see it happening. Somebody mentioned in yesterday's videos in the comments about Xbox, where they made some price increase changes. Both businesses have Indian CEOs who've taken over the company. It used to be, was it Liz Kaczynski, I think, was the CEO of Google. And I think, was it like her brother or her partner or something was like the head of Google? And then they were like separated and her son passed away. And did she not pass away? I could be getting all that wrong. But it was a woman that was there previously, and she was involved in the whole period of YouTube when they were like banning loads of channels and, you know, kind of controlling speech through the 2020, 2021 period. But it's an Indian guy that's there just now. And it's the same at Microsoft. And they've both made massive changes around subscriptions and income and everything else. So definitely a big focus. Now, a couple of people also mentioned about the AI part of it. Obviously, Google has Gemini, and these services are swallowing up swaths of cash. And so, you know, you make a few changes here or there to YouTube, and it just massively, because here's the thing, right? You take Luke, who's in here, for example, right? He's got a channel very close to monetization. All of Luke's videos, even though he's not monetized, still have adverts on them, right? So if you move the bar and it means that the person that's running that channel still doesn't make it to monetization, YouTube picks up 100% of the advertising that's on that channel. So YouTube makes a fortune out of it by eliminating the money that it has to pay you as the creator out of this. So I don't see them making any changes. I just don't see them doing it. Baz Bond. Today, the companies these days are just interested in profits only and do not provide customer service. Baz, 100% agree with you. I mean, my recent experiences with Scottish Power and British Gas, never more so, have driven that home to me. Just absolutely shocking. Both dealing with bereavement teams where you would kind of expect a bit of like kid gloves, like, you know, soft touch, and instead just piss poor customer service. So when it comes to like YouTube and all that, I mean, the thing is, right, you ask any kid, what do you want to be? And they don't say astronaut, doctor, they say YouTuber. So there's plenty of cannon fodder of people willing to start channels. And then you add into all the AI slop channels and, you know, programs that can just punt out, you know, a video every few minutes and upload it automatically, and you don't even need to do anything. Here's the really simple part, right? YouTube could just have done one simple rule, and that rule would have been you can only upload 2 videos a day. 2 videos a day to your channel, that's it. And that would have fixed the AI slop that they're trying to make out, they're trying to combat. Because these like people who write systems like code, right? They use Claude, they use Canva, and then they use an auto uploader that just pumps out these absolute brain rot shorts, right? Take some nonsense topic You know, the moon cycle, oh, here's a 30-second short, punt out like 50 of them and upload them, right? You just limit it to 2 videos a day. Problem solved. Right there. That would have been as easy. That would have all it took. But moving the goalposts just means that the adverts still continue. You don't make anything off of it, and YouTube picks up the 100% check out of it. I see the whole thing about like the niche thing and all that as well. Like, again, it's like, I mean, you can niche down at this point where if you're just focusing on one thing, it's going to become so repetitive. Like, here's what I enjoy and what I try and have this channel on, right? I watch creators, like I watch a guy who's in Sanur in Bali, and he does walks and talks, right? Goes to coffee shops and all that. And I like his style of videos, the way that he presents. And I like some of these like travel vloggers where they're in different destinations, sharing stories and all that. I mean, that's a niche, right? But you compare that to like a finance channel where it's like the same thing. I came to YouTube to watch people kind of flourish and evolve and build the channel. And if the only way that you can create content and be successful is to constantly repeat the same thing, I just probably wouldn't make videos at that point. That would just be too boring for me. You know, having to talk about the same thing over and over again. And again, I'll say this much, it's okay to have pillars, right? Every month, I'm going to say, oh, here's what I earned this month, or here's what we spent, because that changes every month, but it's the same topic coverage, and it gives you an idea as to like what life's costing. That's a pillar. But if you're just, you know, some of these channels that just make the same thing over and over and over again, that's repetitive brain rot nonsense. Hello, Ian. This channel is great. You're a great orator. Full disclosure, we are friends. Proper disclosure. Yvonne and I were considering getting a bus to Portugal, mate. You could have almost had a couple of guests, but we haven't decided on it. We did look about getting a bus to Portugal because we thought that would be one of the ways we could leave Spain. Look at how hot it is in here. Can you see? I'm showing you that. Just look at the state of that. That's how it's absolutely sweltering, and I can't turn a fan on because then you would just hear the fan. Hello, mate. How you doing? That plant's followed you inside. It has, mate. It's one of the many that we're watering here and looking after for the house owner. It's one of many. It's also, I'll tell you this side, right? It's given Yvonne a wee bit of reinvigoration because Yvonne loves house plants. She kind of loves it. Like our house, as you know, as a regular visitor at our house, we loved plants. It brings life to the house. So now that we've been out of a hotel, we're in somebody's house that's got a lot of plants. Yvonne's loved getting up in the morning and going round and moving some into the sun and giving them all a little water and all that. It's the small things like that in life, innit? It's the small things. Hello, Marty. How you doing, mate? Nice to see you. What's happening in Northern Ireland? What did the eclipse look like in Northern Ireland, mate? What fork? People keep mentioning it. I don't know what you're on about. Hello, Bondi. Morning, evening. Have you been watering the plants? Just covered it. It's not me, it's Yvonne. So if they look sad or they look close to death, it is Yvonne. Hello, Chris, mate. How you doing? Nice to see you. Caught you alive. You have indeed sipping on a Fanta. And it's warm. It draws your jaws in that when it goes warm. What else have we got? All those videos posting things out to people, going to the gym, give up membership. Sharon Harrison. Hello, John. Loving your travels. Do you miss Scotland family security? Hello, Sharon. Thanks very much for joining us, and thanks for the compliment. Do I miss Scotland? I miss our friends in Scotland. Ian, who's here, one of our pals, used to be our neighbour in Glasgow. We miss catching up with people, but we will catch up at some point. We've got friends just about to fly in end of next week. 2 friends, actually, a family and friends coming to see us in Spain, which is nice. And we've had some friends come out to Thailand, and we've had a mate come and visit us in Kuala Lumpur. So we've managed to see people, keep ourselves in the kind of routine. In terms of security, is it kind of weird to feel like it feels more secure now doing what we're doing than it did before? I mean, the UK, like, looking from the outside in at the UK right now, it doesn't really look that secure. I mean, debt's going through the roof, taxes going up, all the other things that I could throw into the mix here that's going on a daily basis. A Prime Minister that was voted in on 24,000 votes. It kind of feels a little bit better just looking from a distance. But I'll say this much to kind of bring it back to the travel aspect of it. We've kind of just settled into this routine now of moving around. I kind of start to get itchy feet around the month mark about locations and wanting to move. This part of Spain that we're in just now, a beautiful area, very traditional Spanish, very, very little tourism. I think we've only seen one hotel, and the beach is absolutely beautiful. And Yvonne was asking me, do you think you could live here? And I was like, oh God, no, it would be boring. So we'll do about a month here and then leave, and we're always welcome back at any point. I like going back to Scotland when it's like, you know, when you get a couple of days of good weather. I don't miss the cold. No idea what this has got to do with the mic, honestly. No idea. Make the vlogs for you. The wheels start coming off channels when the host starts trying to second guess what the audience wants. It's a soap opera escapism we all enjoy. That's a very valid point. You know, it's like there's definitely a point on the. I think where the battle in all of this comes from, right, is like most people are making videos by themselves. And you're trying to come up with the ideas and think about topics and share your own kind of creation of what you think is relevant. And then also potentially answer questions that people have with videos. I get asked a lot of quite technical questions on things about like the kit that I use or stock options that I'm writing. And that stuff feels really niche. I mean, as a channel that gets 2,000 views, to then make, if I was to make a video about, I've bought a different camera and here's the benefits of that camera, that's just not going to be of interest to most people. So I don't make those kind of things, but you'll get a lot of requests, and it would be easy to kind of dive into some of those requests. It's a minefield. I used to write music years ago. I had a few records come out and stuff, and I wrote music on my own, and I wrote music with a music partner. And I always found the music partner creation much, much easier because you weren't second guessing yourself. You had somebody to bounce that idea off of. And when you're making videos and blogging and vlogging and all that kind of stuff, you're kind of just doing it on your own. It can be a bit of a, excuse the language, it can be a bit of a head fuck at times. And I mean, YouTube is quite challenging in that, like I'll give you an example of yesterday, right? There's over 100 comments. So technically you're having 100 conversations at once about that topic. And some will be good and some will be bad. And, you know, I just mean as a general. And people will often say, ignore the bad comments. That's impossible. Like there's no way that you can read through what's good and skip by what's bad. Your brain processes them the same way, but you'll think more about the negative than you will about the positive. So that's where YouTube becomes, that's why I said earlier, for many people, it probably isn't the thing to do, to have a YouTube channel and dive into it all. because it's quite challenging. Filler content, just film the sunset while you have your dinner. Yeah, I mean, it's like, when it comes to like filler stuff, right? I mean, little conversations in between about things, you know, like, again, when I started this up, I just wanted to be able to chat about different topics that felt relevant. So to me, that was like being able to have something regularly that you could put out. And when you got one of these, like a big travel channel, then you're always having to deliver big travel channels. Like take Beard Meets Food. Is that his channel? Guy with a big beard that does the food challenges, right? He can't just sit down one day and be like, let me tell you about my finances of the channel. People are just going to be like, what? And the algorithm's not going to know what to do with that. So he ends up having another channel. He has a podcast channel, and he's another channel where he's got one where he reviews restaurants, right? So he's not mixing up the algorithm, because that's where channels struggle, right? They become, what would you say? They become a cropper. Is that what I'm trying to say? I think that's what I'm trying to say. Marty, Yvonne's feeling much better, thanks. Really properly on the mend. Well, mended. And had a couple of days of rest. And I think maybe, I think we're going to be able to go to the beach in the next day or two, take a walk down there and go for a nice swim. It's beautiful. The owner of the house took us down there before she left, and it's lovely. It's just a wee bit of a walk for us, about half an hour walk. And in the sunshine, that's quite warm. But we're going to do it in the next day or two. But because we're in Spain, I needed a couple of little things. I bought a new camera. I needed a couple of little accessories for it. So I ordered them from Amazon, because we've got Amazon Prime now. So some of that got delivered today. Some of it's getting delivered tomorrow. And then something else is getting dropped off on Friday in a locker nearby. I'll tell you what I bought. I bought a memory card for my camera. Do you know how much they've gone up now in price? The company, you know, SanDisk, right? SanDisk, if you own the stock of SanDisk, you are rich. Because SanDisk has gone from $60 to over $2,000 in the space of about a year. And the reason for that is all of these AI companies need the drives. And so the price of hard drives, memory sticks, all of that stuff has gone through the absolute roof. Yeah, so Yvonne's doing well, thanks. YouTube will get away with it until, yeah, I mean, people talk about Rumble. I had an account manager from Rumble reach out to me twice about starting a channel there, and I just didn't want to take the workload on. The idea of sitting down and uploading more videos on top of like Instagram. I mean, I do my YouTube, I do Patreon, I do Instagram. That's it. That's the focus. Obviously, got a newsletter, I've got a podcast. You see how quickly that all spans out. Spotify, but Rumble's it's just not there that I see it. So yeah, thanks, mate, for becoming a member. What fork? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh dear, someone's mentioned customer service. One of my favourite topics. Little update on that. I'm waiting on the £30 from British Gas. They've promised they'll pay the remainder, and I'm waiting on it. So hopefully I should get that soon. That would be nice. John, in your opinion, which is best for an expat, Penang or KL? They're very different. They're very different depending on kind of what you want. I mean, KL is a hustling, bustling city, a proper metropolis. Like, you know, the overground train, lots of different areas of the city, shopping malls, you know, all the kind of Western luxuries that you would find, supermarkets, you know, highways, plenty of easy access to get around the city. Penang is like old town, much more rustic, easier access to get to the beach. I mean, going to Georgetown and Batu Ferengi. So if you kind of want that beach atmosphere and be down next to the seaside, they're very different. There's a couple who watch this channel there. They were out there, Carrie and Richard. They stayed in Penang. They seemed to love it. They seemed to find that the accommodation was cheaper for them than it was in KL. I kind of had the opposite to that. I found KL to be cheaper. I mean, Kuala Lumpur is made up of something like, I think it's like 9 cities. 9 different parts make up Kuala Lumpur. And Petaling Jaya, which is kind of just on the border of KL, I mean, we enjoyed staying there and it was super cheap. That's where we stayed for like £300 a month. And it was like a 20-minute taxi to take you into KL. So, I mean, I don't know, MBA, like what age you're at and kind of what your priorities are. If you're looking for like a quiet life, Penang's probably the preference. If you don't mind that kind of city living with the parks and just, a lot of things on your doorstep, KL would be the option. You could get a spot in the next Train Spotting movie if you keep growing on YouTube. Good news, I'm not growing on YouTube. So I don't think that movie role is going to come a calling anytime soon. Are you pet sitting? Yes, we're looking after 4 beautiful little cats just now for a family friend of ours in Spain. That's why we're here. She offered us the opportunity to come and look after our house. And then we're holidaying in 2 weeks' time in Alicante, which we've never been to before. So looking forward to that. And yeah, well, look at it. I mean, I'm losing kilos here, sitting here. Mac, yeah, I just make vlogs for you guys. Fretting over what the algorithm wants leads to madness. I totally agree. I totally agree, Mac. It's a real minefield. And again, like there's so many things go into it, right? On the platform, again, I'll pull up my stats. Here's what the last 28 days look like. So it was kind of mediocre, okay, and then all of a sudden I had a bit of a spike. The spike came from 2 shorts that I posted, which actually came from the last live that I did, which was really easy to kind of make. That kind of boosted it up a little bit. But in terms of the channel growing, it's not. It's actively declining. 21 people have gone. 21 people as a net. I think the last time I looked at the numbers, I'd gained like 160 and lost like 181 or something. So just the phase that it's in. But again, I can only say this. The channel started last year out of grief, redundancy, ill health, and as people who are in here that kind of know the channel, that was season 1, and there was a very definitive end of that part last year, where when we stepped into 2026, we tried to shift our mindset, and so people who would have came along for the recognizing and aligning with losing a parent or losing a loved one and the stuff that I talked about there. The channel isn't that channel anymore. I just, I can't live in that world all the time. I have to evolve, and some people will evolve and move with you, and others won't and will want to, find something else that aligns with them. So that's just the way it goes. And I'm just in this kind of period just now where I'm moving around a little bit. And I also, one of the things about kind of establishing ourselves in Malaysia was that we gained a lot of Malaysian viewers. And then when we went to Thailand, some of those people dropped off because they're not interested. And I gained people in Thailand, probably lost them. And now we're in Spain, right? So Malaysians aren't going to want to watch a guy in Spain. So this is kind of one of the challenges around, my audience is predominantly in Britain, but I get some in Australia, some in New Zealand, some in America, Canada, and then some of the other territories beyond that. But in recent months, Malaysia made up maybe about 20% of it. So when you shift and move, people are going to leave and unsubscribe and move on, and then you've got to kind of build back again. So, like, if I was oh my God, what's happening? I wouldn't show you this. I wouldn't have the balls to be like, that's the channel. That's part and parcel of it. I spent all these years in sales and I didn't hit my bonus every single month or every quarter or every year. There were always ups and downs. That's just, again, part and parcel of it, right? You got to just, so I make what I like. I do my best to try and answer questions and provide useful content where I can, but also I can't let it consume us because we're trying to just enjoy our lives. Brilliant, made about 97% of the eclipse. Oh, cool. We just had this massive cloud over us. It just appeared right before it was due to happen. Back to what you know, what everything. Who was that again? What was that band's name? Come on, Ian, fill in the gap for me. Who was that? Embrace. See that? I've still got brain cells left. Yes. Got myself some plants in the for the office, the house office. Are you talking about? Have you got the spare bedroom kitted out yet? We can come back to the UK for like 16 days. So if you're willing to put us up, mate, you need your house looked after. I was going to say we don't do kids. You know what I mean? We don't look after kids. We'll look after pets. You've got a dog. We'll look after your dog for you. You could fork out on some aircon. There's aircon all over the house. If I turn the aircon on, you'll hear this. Oh, nobody wants that. Mac in Lanarkshire, the eclipse resulted in a dullness becoming duller. It was the same here. The sky was entirely blue apart from right at the sun. And that was it. Marty, are you still in holiday mode, mate, or do you think you're something else? Like, this is a really hard thing, right? Because we never tried to be in holiday mode. We tried desperately, but there are always times, right? Like when we met that couple last week, Lee and Sarah, we ended up just sitting in a pub and having a couple of beers, and it was super nice. And that kind of felt a little bit like holiday mode. And see, in 2 weeks' time, when our pals arrive and we're in Alicante, it will be hard not. Let me move this chair a wee thing. It will be hard not to feel like that's holiday mode because they're flying in to see us. But it doesn't feel like we have to holiday from the holiday, if that makes some sense. I mean, I don't feel like I have to escape. I feel like I have escaped. Oh, I love the videos. Lemmy, I love Lemmy. Lemmy is an absolute legend. When he started, when he was on the BBC, and then he moved to Twitch, especially through the lockdown period, I mean, he's had so many good sketches. The guy that goes to Yoker used to make me laugh. And also the hoof guy, when it was like somebody would call in, "Welcome, traveller," that one that he used to do. Loved that. Cheers, guys. Amy, hey, John, first time watching. Hello, Amy. Thanks for joining us, watching a live. Just interested to know how you learned about stocks and shares. Do you use a demo account? Read any books? What resources do you use? Great question. Tell you how I learned. I watched a channel by an old guy called Uncle Bruce. And I bought my first stock in 2020, which was GameStop. And I got into the whole meme stock, short stock, all of that kind of stuff that happened around GameStop. And I still own GameStop. And so I watched this old guy, Uncle Bruce. If you go into YouTube and just type in Uncle Bruce, he'll come up. He's an old portfolio manager, stockbroker. and he's retired, and he used to just make videos whilst he was also be traveling. And about 2020, he started talking about options, and he made a whole bunch of courses. He would make these course videos. I think he's got about 20 of them. They were like $150 a video, and I think I bought about 7 of them. And that's where I started to learn about options contracts, and options writing. And when I used to listen to Uncle Bruce at the beginning of all of this, he said, with a very small amount of capital, you could quit your job. And if you want to quit your job and do this full time, this is a way to do it. And I paid attention and I started listening. And in 2023, late 2023, I wrote my first options contract. I didn't use a demo account, because I think when you use a demo account, you don't really get the feeling of what it's like to put your own capital at risk, and that sharpens your mind a little bit. So I wrote my first contracts very tentatively against SoFi, which is a company I own stock in. And I wrote one contract, which is for 100 shares. And I think it cost me about $1,800 in advance money to write the contract. And that's what got me started. And I'll say this much, if you can get into this, Amy, if you've got the kind of mind to tune into it, it really can make such a difference. I'll show you, here's my account from today. And today I have made $915 in realized gains today from 2 contracts that I was sitting on for a few days. So I'm halfway through the week and I've made just shy of $1,000. And I try and make, if I can make 2,000 in a month, I'm pretty happy with that. And so that's kind of where I've got to. I'll show you the month to date. There's my month to date, which is 1,506. And just so that you know, I am fallible at times. I made an $800 loss during this week. So that, last week. So that would have been a significantly better month if I hadn't recognized the loss. But I own some stocks in a company there called Beyond Meat, which is a synthetic meat company, and it's absolutely died on its arse. So I pulled the plug to get out of it and just accept the loss. But my month so far is $1,500, and I typically write 30-day contracts and pick up hundreds of dollars here and there. I do cash secured puts, which means I have the money in the account to write. And on stock that I own, I write covered calls. So let me give you an example of that. I own SoFi. On Friday of last week, I wrote 10 contracts, which is 1,000 shares of SoFi, to agree to sell my SoFi at $18.50. So if SoFi goes above $18.50, I would sell my stock and I would walk away with the fee and the money that I make from selling the stock. If SoFi stays below $18.50, I just keep the fee. And the fee for that contract, let me find it. It'll be hard to see, but the fee for that contract is there. It's $327 for a 1 week contract. So $327. That will be added to the $950 that I've earned so far this week. And that is how I avoid having a job. It's not YouTube. It's not one-to-one calls. It's not interest in my savings. It's options contracts. Chris, Krabi is beautiful in Bali. We are going to go back to Bali. I'm not quite sure when, maybe January or February, but we're going to go back there. I think it's on the cards for us. Don't forget to ask people to subscribe. Costs nothing. I know. I don't really like doing it. If you want to subscribe, you subscribe. If you don't, the content couldn't have been good enough in the first place. Embrace. Thanks, mate. Thought so. Yeah, it probably is buffering. The internet's a little bit flaky here. It's going in and out every now and then. It buffers on my camera. So it's not you, mate. It's not you. Well, you're in Alicante. Costa, what? I can't even say that. Costa Adagia? I don't even know what that is. Tell me what that is, Chris. Ant Coffee. Hey, John, now that you've spent time in Asia, do you feel you look at things in Europe any differently? Definitely. I've really enjoyed it here in Spain in the week that we've been here, mainly because this area is very quiet, very Spanish. Like, you go into shops, nobody, like, they don't speak English at you, and when you ask in English, they just carry on with Spanish. But it's really nice, very quiet, very calming. So that's kind of made me think a little bit differently about Spain. And it had been in my mind long term, especially when it comes to things like your pension, the state pension, because obviously there's kind of the triple lock, which would be valid here, wouldn't be in Asia if we stayed there. So there's a kind of longer term thought about where we would maybe go. But at this point, it's so early in the game for us to be thinking about that. But I'll say this much: looking at the UK from a distance is eye-opening. I don't miss the UK, and I just see what's going on every day, the tensions, the stresses. It just, I feel like the country's just kept on a permanent tenterhook. Like, it never feels like there's any point of relaxation. Like, guys, see today, everything is just all right. Is that, does it feel like that to you? Like me, when I see little flashes of news stories and things, I'm like, it just constantly feels like, and that just doesn't look good from the outside in. It's painful asking. I totally get it. I watched the Diary of a CEO and they start, but I know, mate, it's like, it's just the whole, like and subscribe, comment, do all the things. It's like, could you just start the video, mate? Could you give us some content first before you're asking me to do all of this? Baz, who would you watch on YouTube to learn options trading or books to read? There's a guy called Henry. Let me find his page. It's pretty good. Give me a second, Baz. Let me have a look. Henry options. See if I can find him. See this guy, Invest with Henry. He does quite long videos about it. He's got like kind of hour and 2 hour long videos about how to do it. Pretty good resource. So I would recommend Henry's channel on it. Look at how bloody hot I am. Jesus Christ. Do you know, I'll tell you, Chris, Yvonne was looking at Ibiza, because it's a ferry ride across, and you just can't take the rave out of that lassie. Sometimes you just can't. Amy, thanks for the info. I'm good with numbers, so I'll have a look into it. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth doing if you've got a kind of analytical mind. It's like the thing with options contracts, right? The real simple thing is that you're just buying or selling time. That's all it is. You're selling either a week contract, a 30-day contract, a 2-month contract, or longer. And it's about patience in that time period. And what you really want to happen is you just want the stock to go sideways. Like, you don't want big ups and down spikes. You don't want crazy. Like, the reason that premiums are higher on some stocks is because the volatility on those stocks is high, which adds to the risk, which is why you get more premium. But you just want the stock to go sideways. Like, see, if you look at, I basically have like 3 companies that I'm really interested in, SoFi being one of them, right? So if I look at SoFi for the last 6 months, that's what it's done, right? It's been as high as 20 and as low as 17. That's a pretty good tranche to be involved in, because if you don't own the stock and you write a cash secured put, that's you agreeing to buy the stock at a set price. So today it's at $17.94. You could write a contract for 15, right? So you would sell a contract for 15, which means I am willing to buy SoFi. If it goes below $15, you would be committed to buying it at 15 minus the fee that you get. So if you got $1 fee, that means your break even would be $14. If SoFi doesn't go below $15, your break even of $14, you keep the fee, and that's it. Now, if SoFi went below that price tranche and you buy the stock, what you then call is the wheel strategy, is that you would then write a covered call, which is you agreeing to sell the 100 shares at the price that you like. So, you could write a covered call for like $17. If SoFi goes above 17, you sell the stock. You realize the profit that you made from buying it at 14, selling it at 17, plus the fee. And if it doesn't go above 17, you keep the fee and you keep the stock. And I just go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And when the stock is doing this side to side to side, it's kind of like fairly easy. Now, people always ask, what is the risk? What is the risk? This is like gambling. When it's a cash secure put, the risk is that you will buy the stock. If it's a covered call, the risk is that you sell your stock. If you're still here, Amy, I hope that kind of explains it a little bit. Is the market's closed now? I was going to say, I could have had a look. Market's closed. But that's how it works. That's the wheel strategy. So you're either writing cash secured puts to potentially buy the stock. If at some stage you buy the stock, you write a covered call to sell the stock. And you're just trying to turn a profit from all of that. And you can do it with fairly low capital. For example, if you were to write a cash secure put on SoFi, it's at $18. So 100 shares would be $1,800. You need to have $1,800 in your account in order to write that contract. That's what you would need to do for it. So I hope that kind of gives you a little bit of info. That guy, Henry, great channel for all of that. Marty, eye-opening, it's shit. Oh. And you mean the UK? I figured. Is tomorrow is that tomorrow, is it? I've been watching a little bit. I've seen some clips of it. I'll tell you, I was kind of laughing about this, right? Because see, when I was in Malaysia, I mean, I was dying to make a video to say to the Malaysians, like, I get asked, like, why did you leave? Malaysians will ask us, why did you leave the UK? And I kind of wanted to be like, here's the political system in the UK right now. You've got a prime minister who was voted in on 24,000 votes in a local by-election. You've got the leader of the opposition party who's currently running against a space bin. You've got another member of the opposition who makes videos of him dancing amongst, constantly. I mean, what do you call him? Ed Davey and Polanski both have got dancing videos. it's just like, if you showed that to like Malaysians and were like, this is the political system in the UK right now, it would blow their minds. Do you think any of that shit happens in like Thailand? Do you think any of that shit happens in like India? Do you think there's a bin running for a political position in India? No. The UK is not a serious country. I'm OCD with numbers. I don't have that. This is the challenge, right? You do need to have a bit of money. I'll tell you, like, here's what I would say, right? If I had 100 quid, let me just big caveat along the bottom of the screen, not financial advice. I am not a qualified accountant. I am not a financial advisor. If I had 100 quid to invest and I had no idea what to do with it, here is a stock ticker that I would have a look at. VWRA. This is the Vanguard ETF. It's an all-world ETF, right? Which means it's a basket of many stocks. It's $194.78 for one share, but most companies will let you do split, like you can buy portions of a stock. So if I had 100 quid, that's where I would put it. Why would I put it in there? Let me show you the 10-year history of this ticker. That's it. That's the 10-year performance of that individual ticker, the all-world Vanguard ETF. So if you put 100 quid in that, let me find it. I bought 50 shares in that last year, 2 years ago, last year. And there's the performance of it. And let me show you down below. It's delivered £1,000 in profit. And it's currently 16.87% up from where I bought the position. So without having to worry about what stocks to buy, without having to worry about options and everything else, if I had 100 quid and I knew nothing about the market, that is a very good place to start. An all-world ETF. I'm not a financial advisor. That's just what me, John, sitting in front of the camera, would do with my money. Not telling you what you should do with your money. All right, what else have we got going on? Great advice, welcome. What platform do you recommend? The two choices, Robinhood or Interactive Broker. I use Interactive Broker because I don't trust the CEO of Robinhood because he was involved in a whole shitstorm with GameStop, but that's just a personal opinion. It's probably a very good company, performs very well in its stocks and shares. And in terms of the app, it's much easier to understand on the app for Robinhood. I have Robinhood. I don't have any money in it. I have Interactive Broker, and that's where I hold my entire stock portfolio. That's where I trade options. Just to make you aware, in order to trade options on any platform, you have to take a test. And they're going to ask you questions like what kind of experience you've got, where your money came from. If you fail the test, they won't let you trade options. So they don't just give you an account and let you run off and do whatever you want with it. You do need to take a test. It's like 8 questions. Not particularly hard, but just to make you aware, because I know people sometimes say, failed the test. Yeah, there's a number of these, right? So, I mean, I'm just pointing out one that I've used, but there's definitely many other options that you could go for in terms of these kind of accounts that Ant's talked about. There's also, I mean, if you're into the kind of, if you're into the options stuff, but you don't want to do the options yourself, There's a ticker called JEPI. Let me see if I can look it up. JEPI. So this is the JP Morgan Equity Premium Income ETF. And what it basically does is they write options on your behalf. And then you share in that, you share in the profits that's made from it. So if you didn't want to write the options yourself, obviously, I mean, I do, right? That's kind of enjoy that part of it. But ever tried index spread betting? No, not got into any of that kind of stuff. I try and just keep it super simple, Mac. I just keep it as basic as I possibly can. I mean, I'm by no means amazing at all of this stuff. I make mistakes, but I've got to a position now where I'm just able to generate enough money that means that I don't need to go back to a full-time job, and I don't need to eat in crazily to my savings. And so if I can do that and survive, bringing in like that SoFi contract, $350 or whatever in a week, that's pretty close to rent. That's pretty close to rent. Malaysian apartment for like £300-400. If I can bring in $2,000, Yvonne and I can live quietly and relax a little bit. Not trying to be rich, not trying to blow the doors off and Lambos and all that kind of stuff. Just trying to get by without a job. I thought you had to invest 5,000 USD into your account. No, not that I'm aware of. I think you can pretty much open an account up, and if you've got enough in there to cover your contracts, you can pretty much kickstart from there. As far as I know, Baz, I didn't open Interactive Broker with 5,000 in it when I started. Definitely not. Plus the VWRL have minuscule fees. Yep, again, it's these little things, isn't it? You got to be a little bit wary of the fees on things as well. And again, when it comes to like the options contracts, right? There's 4 main ones. So you've got calls and puts, and then covered calls and cash secured puts. They're very different. I always equate this to one is like being the gambler that walks into the casino, and the other one is like being the casino. I choose that option. Are you guys back in the gym? Not right now. When we were in Malaysia, yeah, I was absolutely smashing it at the gym. When we're here, we don't have a pool access, and it's so hot during the day. So I've gone a little bit soft. I've gone a little bit soft around the belly. Plus, I've had a couple of drinks here and there. But I had a beer with the owner of the house the other night. Yvonne and I had a glass of wine on the flight. So I've consumed a little bit of alcohol. I've drifted a little bit on that. But once we move back to Malaysia, that's what I'd love to go back to Bali for. That gym that we went to was fucking amazing. Absolutely loved it in there. But when we were in Malaysia, the place we had with the gym in it, I was in there every day. Then we did the house sit in Batu Ferenghi, no gym. So I was lifting bricks. I was lifting bricks in the back garden. The owner of the house had 2 concrete slabs. I was using that for weights. Got to go old school. Just finished watering the plants in the garden. Nice, Bumblebee. I've no idea what you're talking about with the fork. No, it's my microphone. Justin sweltering here in Kansas City, 36-39. Yeah, I think we're all getting cooked, aren't we? It's nearly 10:30 here, 28 degrees just now. Tomorrow is going to be 34. Bloody hot. What is happening with the DJI camera? I'll tell you, I've only just got all the accessories for the new camera, so I haven't even got round. I'm working on the DJI camera now, so I haven't even got around to thinking about it. I needed some ND filters, and I also needed a new microphone for the new camera so that I can start using it. So it's not even been out the box, but I'll come up with something. Shares, SoFi doing well, sold some GameStop before it fell. Yeah, they're both, aren't they both fuckers to hold on to? They're both a pain in the absolute tits, so they are. But yeah, let me have a little look. The whole GameStop thing, right? If you're following that closely, Bumblebee, you're watching what's happening with eBay, right? eBay's tumbled to 102. Now there's the rumours that GameStop might pull out. I just think that's all fuckery. I just can't see them walking away from this at this point. I don't believe it. But as for SoFi, I hold stock of SoFi on eToro, and my average price is about $6. And I hold stock on Interactive Broker, and my average price is $18. And that's why I'm writing covered calls, because I'm okay with letting some of my Interactive Broker SoFi stock go, but with a fee. So I've just been writing these, writing to let go of 1,000 shares, picking up 300, and just slowly kind of topping up my income. And if it gets called away, if I lose the 1,000 shares, I'll make a very small profit, because my average is 18. I'm writing covered calls at 18.50. So I'll make a 50 cents profit plus the fee, which is like 30 cents. So I'll make a small profit, but then I'll just write a cash secure put for like 17. And if it drops to 17 and I buy the stock back again, then I'll just go round in circles with it. But there's been so much good info on the company that I'm like, it's got to break out at some point. I'm kind of, it feels strangled right now because of the interest rates in America. If they drop the interest rates, I think it'll explode. I could see it going back to, $30, maybe $40, and that. See it like $40. That's game changing for me and what the stock that I hold. See at $40, I would just start writing again regular covered calls to let it go at like 45, pick up the profit. I'll tell you, I'm writing some contracts just now on Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab is a company that I've been following right since kind of the SPAC days, when it was down at like $10, right? There's Rocket Lab. It literally went like a fucking rocket. And I've been on the back of that. I've made decent money out of Rocket Lab. And the money that I made this week, the $900 was on Rocket Lab. I held a $50 cash secure put. And when it went up to like $80, I sold it, or I bought it back. And then this week, I sold another for $75. When it got to $80 today, I bought it back, and that was worth like $150 or something. But $150 in 3 days is for me easy money. But you need you're looking at like $7,500 collateral to be able to do it. But see, this is where, if you're sitting on a little bit of savings, this is where you can just turn it into income. And that's what I'm trying to do, turn it into income. Mac, were you using some kind of neck mount recently? Oh, I know I have another camera, Mac. I have a what was it called again? I have an Insta Go Ultra. I have an Insta Go Ultra that I've been filming a lot on recently. It's a little handheld camera, and it has a little magnet that goes around your chest. And I've been using it to do a lot of shots with, because it's very discreet. So I'm using an Insta Go Ultra camera. I bought it in the mall. So I've gone from having all DJI products, and I've moved back to Insta. I used to use Insta, the 360 camera, and then I bought DJI. and now I've moved back to Insta. So I'll have the Insta Luna. Insta Luna is my main camera, like the one I'm talking to you now. And then I have the Insta Go Ultra, which goes round your neck or clips onto your baseball cap. It's a tiny little camera. Great bit of kit. What else have we got going on? I didn't know Scots could withstand the heat. To be fair, we can't. Look at me. I'm absolutely pissing in sweat. This is soaking. We can't stand the heat. We burst into flames above 40. Bumble, mine's is $15 on Sofa and $20 on GameStop. I'll tell you what, Bumble, I'm not in a very good position when it comes to GameStop on my Interactive Broker account. I think my average is like 24. So I'm eating that loss right now. I'm a long-term holder. 24.59. Oh, that's painful. It's not even in the realms of being able to write covered calls on it. And I just feel it's too risky. GameStop is the one that I generally just leave. I'll occasionally add here or there. I'll add a few shares here or there. But just now I'm just riding it. SoFi, I'm up and down. I hold SoFi on Revolut. I hold SoFi on eToro, and I hold SoFi on Interactive Broker, and I hold SoFi in Trading 212. I am very heavily positioned in SoFi, which is why I write covered calls on Interactive Broker, because I'm okay with assignment there. I'm okay with that getting called away and taking 1,000 or 2,000 shares off my hands and moving back to a cash position, because I've got it at better price points on eToro and on Revolut. Like I say, I think my eToro average is like $6. That's where I bought the vast majority of the stock. But I started selling a little bit and moving the money over to Interactive Broker because I can put it to work better than I can on eToro. Let's have a little look. What we got going on here? Who's saying what? God, my eyesight's going to shit. I've not got my glasses on, folks. I've not got my glasses on. Justin was back in Edinburgh for work recently. Palpable sense of change, dread. Like a Stephen King novel. Very unnerving. Can't put my finger on it. Isn't that sad? Isn't that sad? We really made a conscious decision not to go back to the UK this year. Our pals that are flying into Alicante in 2 weeks' time to see us were the same friends that put us up when we were leaving the UK in our last weeks in Glasgow. And we were going to go back and see them and see Ian that's in here, catch up with people in Scotland. I really didn't want to. And then when they offered to come out to Spain and meet up with us, I was quite glad, because there's something psychological about staying away for a year. Like the longest I've ever been away from home has been like, the usual kind of 2-week holiday. Even when I was DJing professionally and traveling all over the world, I was still home really regular. And this has been such a massive change to go to just being out the country for like, it's August 12th, right? On the 17th of September, that's a year. How many people, there's 47 people in here, right? How many people out of the 47 have been here for the year? How many people have been following this for a year? I mean, it blows my mind. I cannot believe that it's been a year. The action, do you ever delete comments on YouTube videos? I never delete comments, but I do take 2 courses of action. So sometimes in YouTube, right, comments that have any kind of swearing in them go into It's like, is it called kept? I think it's called kept or held. And so see when you go into like in fact, I'll tell you, let me go to YouTube. Let me see if I can actually do this on screen right now. Have a look. Switch account. Bear with me. Bear with me. Right. Let's see if I can do this. Right. Share screen. Share screen. YouTube. Right. Hopefully you get to see this. Add to stage. Right, there we go. Look at that. Look at technology. Right, I mean, I've been as transparent as I possibly can on my channel, sharing every aspect of it. This is the YouTube Creator Studio. This is what I get to see when I log in. Here's my most recent video, and it's ranked number 2 out of hopefully I've still got you. Right. So you can see every single comment that's been made, right? Now, this goes on forever. And I do my best to answer as many comments as I can. But these are all ones that are unanswered. And it just becomes like it's a never ending task, right? It's like, this is kind of similar to saying, have you ever read every email in your inbox, right? Everything you've ever been sent. I just can't keep up with it. So I don't always answer everything, but I do my best. And what I typically do is when I make a new video, I try and answer the comments on that new video until I post the next video. And then when I post the next video, I kind of stop going back and retrospectively answering old comments on older videos, because it's just a never-ending battle, right? Now, see along the top here, you can see published. Here it is, here held. Now, see in the held section, there's nothing in there. But sometimes if somebody's sworn or they've said something that's a bit abusive, it goes in here. Now, I'll go in here and I'll either say, yeah, it can be seen or it can't. So sometimes if you've wrote a comment and it hasn't shown up, it's not been deleted by the creator. They probably just haven't gone in and seen the held section and decided whether they want to post or not. Now, I generally go in here and I'll post it. As long as it's not something totally ridiculous, I'll generally post it, because, like, have at it, right? You know, as long as I don't think it's breaking any terms and conditions of YouTube or saying anything out of order, I would let it slide. But everything else that's in here, these are all the unanswered messages that I've got so far. And again, it's like, you know, there's a lot, right, going back. This will keep loading and keep loading and keep loading. So that's all the comments that are there. So I wouldn't typically delete a comment. Like, what I will occasionally do is I will hide a user from the channel. Now, what does that mean? If somebody is being, if somebody's like having a go at you, disrespecting you, slagging off the channel, whatever else, right? I don't want to sit and read that. So you can hide a user from the channel, which means the person can carry on posting. They can write on your channel, but only they see it. That's it. So you've got to think of it. The best way I could describe this, right, is like, you know, remember MySpace? Remember MySpace was like where you could post a bit of music and post to your board and all that. And MySpace was like your page. In the same way that Facebook, when you create a Facebook profile, that's your page, right? YouTube is the same. Google owned the platform. YouTube is the platform itself, right? So Google's the parent company. YouTube is the platform. The channel, right? So the channel, like, so if I go to here, this is my channel. I own this content, right? It's on YouTube's platform, But these are my videos that I made. And see, within these videos, right, each of these topics, the comments that are in it, that's on my content. And so years ago when I was getting into YouTube, right, I spoke to somebody about this, and the best way that they described it was like, you wouldn't allow somebody to come into your house and abuse you. So why would you allow it on your channel? And so, like, if somebody's just like saying something, oh, your videos are shit, or oh, I don't agree with that topic, I don't care about that. But if somebody is like abusing what you're doing, I'm not going to entertain that. I wouldn't entertain it in my house. I wouldn't entertain it if you were saying it to my face, and I wouldn't entertain it on my channel. So for that, I would click hide from channel, and the person can carry on writing whatever they like, but only they get to read it. Nobody else gets to read it. And so have I done that? Yes. All creators would be doing that. It's the only way you can keep your own sense in all of this, because at times it can just be, you know, generally it's all pretty good and people are supportive, but not always. Not always. So I hope that answers your question. SoFi will explode. Have you looked at the Compass Therapeutics and Laser Photonics? They have both exploded as well. I haven't. No, I'll tell you, I have one speculative stock that I've been holding on to for quite some time. It's a company called Tyna Therapeutics. It's this ticker here, TNYA. They make medicine for your heart, particularly that has been damaged around the old jibber jabber, and it's for fixing the vessels inside your heart. And it launched and went to like a crazy price of like $28, and right now it's at 76 cents. And I started buying it when it was around 50 cents as a total speculative punt. And they've really recently just signed a deal with a big pharmaceutical company who's given them $10 million in investment. They've gone through a number of clinical trials. Now, it could very easily go bust. Could very easily, my money could just disappear. But it could also very easily go to $2, $3, or $4 pretty quickly. So that's one that I'm kind of I'm holding on to. How do you, which options to choose? How do you know which options to choose? I'm guessing you mean here between calls or puts, or cash secured puts and covered calls. I'm always doing the latter. I typically, what I look for is I write cash secured puts on days where the company has had a red day. So when the stock's tumbled and it's pulled back a little bit, I then would write sell a contract about 20% below where that's at. And when it comes to covered calls, which is letting go of the stock, I look for days when the stock has had a few green days and it's ran up into a kind of positive position. And I look for when that, I think that's about the top, and then I write above that. So if SoFi was at 17 and it ran up to 18, I might write a 19. If SoFi was at 17, it dropped to 16, I might write a 15. You're kind of looking, you can go on and look at charts, and you can apply things like the Bollinger Bands and look for trends in stock and kind of do it like that. Right, folks, I'll check the last couple of questions. I've just noticed my laptop's not plugged in and it's at 8% battery, 7% battery. So I'm going to get cut off in a minute. Let me flick back through and see if there's anything interesting. The 5 year on Tyna looks pretty dead, but you never know. Exactly. I totally agree. However, if you have a little read into what they've been doing with their clinical trials, they've tested on 7 or 8 patients recently, and all of them showed amazing recovery in their heart issues, the damage inside their valves. If they get this right, they are the only company that has this product in the market right now. There's 2 clinical trials. One is for TN201 and the other one is for TN401 or something, which are the 2 trials. They've stated, they've just brought on a new CFO, and they've stated that They expect to publish their next results in Q4. If those results are good, I could see it being I could see it maybe hitting $2. So it could very easily lose the money. I'm saying that much. It's an absolute lottery ticket of a punt, because drug companies go bust very quickly. They run out of investment very quickly. TN301 is the clinical trial that they're working towards. Pretty interesting. Have a little look at their data. There's no guarantees with it. For me, it's a lottery ticket. It's a lottery ticket punt. Baz, 100% fake news as usual. All right, I'm skipping back through just to see what else is going on. Yeah, the UK is 3 trillion in debt. Did you see Elon Musk? I see Marty just talking about it. Elon Musk asking how much it would cost to buy. I think I said on X 2 caramel chews and an empty Iron Brew bottle would probably get you the UK at this point. Do you remember when Iron Brew bottles used to give you like 10 pence when you handed them back to the ice cream van? Would get you another penny caramel. Oof, 5K. Well, we'll see where it goes. It's an interesting one. I have held on to it for quite some time. I think I have 15,000 of them. If it gets to $1, I'll probably trim back a little bit. But we'll see what's going on. Yeah, I mean, so there you go, right? Ant Coffee, Tyna Therapeutics trades at 75 cents. Wall Street analysts project a 12-month average price between 320 and 1020. Who knows, right? Who knows? I'll tell you the interactive broker recommendation for it. Let me have a little look. There's Interactive Broker, says it's a buy with a recommendation of $9.33. If this came in at $9.33, I'd shit my pants on a live stream. And then I would probably consider ending my YouTube career. I don't think I'd be holding all the way to $9. Let's put it that way. I think I'd be trimming much earlier than that. But it's just one of those. Who knows? It's an absolute speculative punt. I mean, 140 grand, that would be all right. Right, folks, listen, this has been an absolute blast. Thank you so much for joining me to run my battery down on my laptop. Thanks for all the questions, the chat, hanging out with me while I sweat my proverbial tits off in this Spanish household. I'll be back on Saturday with another live stream. Tomorrow, I have an interview with Lee and Sarah talking about them leaving the UK. Some great stuff in their interview. So I hope you guys will all check that out. And then some more videos come in through the rest of the week. So if I don't see you beforehand, I hope to see you all for the coffee morning on Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your night, folks. Take it easy. Thanks for joining me.